News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Hey, Allan.
Hey, Joe.
I'm not
Joe.
Joe.
It's not here. Wow. Well, this is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting from the portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
It's cold in here.
Well, we're kind of out here, Brandon.
It's amazing, though. It's a beautiful day. We are coming to you
gorgeous.
live from the Bartlett Animal Shelter for their vaccination and chipping event.
I believe it is actually called the Annual Rabies and Microchip Extravaganza.
Actually, we were told just a few minutes ago off air that that is not what they're calling it.
Oh.
It used to be the Jubilee, but now it's the event.
It is now the event. Well, that is awesome. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, it's going to be a fun show today. We're going to be outside. Brandon is going to be in absolute dog heaven.
That's true. It's true. And, for the first time appearing on Tool Talk Radio, Geek Tank Radio's own Alissa Diggs should be here shortly.
Excellent.
Joining us because she heard we were playing with puppies.
That is very true. So, ladies and gentlemen, from 10 to 2 today, out here at the Bartlett Animal Services facility, they will be having the Come Get Your Animal Its Rabies Shot, and you can even have your pet microchipped.
Yep.
Now, this is dogs and cats.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Don't.
I'm pretty sure that they might make a exception for like a mongoose.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to see that. So, all right.
Come get your mongoose chip. No,
all
guys,
right.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. So, the big thing today that we're going to dive into for the entire show, of course, we're going to be featuring your pets.
Yes, and how to make sure that your house is just as hospitable for them as it is for you.
The biggest thing is right now, and as a matter of fact, I just got through working on a full catio project, and I thought, how amazingly appropriate for Tool Talk.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask who you did this for, but I have to ask, how much strain was that on you to not chase them through the yard? Because you're part canine yourself.
Or at least I'm part cyborg. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in here. Just a quick reminder, you can always send us a message at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can always visit us online at newstalk989.com, on Newstalk989 on Facebook, and at tooltalkradio.com. So if you have any questions for us today, or if you have a comment you'd like to get into us, just send it over to the Big M Roofing Remodeling Hotline. We have Max standing by, so he will alert us and keep us posted. I don't even think he's behind the glass today.
Oh, well, you know that whenever we're not in the studio, he takes the time to, get in his PJs, sit in the actual production room. He's comfy.
And kick it.
He is.
Oh, and by the way, Allan, this isn't sucking up to you, but I also want to wish you a very happy International Plant Appreciation Day.
You know what? I don't care if you're sucking up to me or not. I have done so many landscape jobs in the last 3 weeks. I am totally down with Plant Appreciation Day.
That is totally awesome of you, Max.
It was a great day. So, all right, here we go. We are going to dive into, and we're going to start off with dogs.
Well, dogs. I'm a dog guy.
You're a dog guy.
Yeah.
And
not that I have anything against cats, but, we're both territorial creatures, therefore we don't get along in my house.
Probably.
Right.
Well, that and the fact that you like to sleep on the windowsill and knock stuff off on your own. So you
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, I've been doing that for years.
You don't need a dog for that.
I don't need a cat for that.
That's true.
Yeah.
You need a dog for that.
I need a dog for that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before you adopt a fur baby into your home, there are a lot of things I think we need to talk about and we need to address because, let's face it, a pet, no matter what it is a big investment. This is not something to be done lightly. The average lifespan of a dog is what, Brandon?
14 years?
14.
That's been my experience. Your mileage may vary. I'm just saying.
Depending upon breed, size, and all that type of thing. So here is my opening advice for the show.
Right.
Before you adopt a dog, let's really get into my favorite expression of admit your lifestyle. Where do you live? How much room do you have? Choose a breed that is appropriate. And then we're going to get into DIY the house, because the minute you have a pet, it does change the entire dynamic of your home.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you will sit there and go, "Oh, this is perfect. This dog is the 20 pounds that my apartment will allow me to have." They don't stay that small if you don't get the right breed.
No.
I had a friend who had a Great Pyrenees in an apartment.
For those that don't know what a Great Pyrenees is, it is basically somewhere around the size of a Shetland pony.
Yeah, it's just furrier.
Yeah, that is not a small animal.
No, not at all. And they want their space, and they want your space, and they want all the space.
It's basically a throw rug that lives.
Well, yeah, if your throw rug is the same weight as your car.
Well, the first thing I'm going to throw in is, of course, do you have enough facility? And by that, do I mean, are you in an apartment? Are you in a home? Do you have a fenced-in yard?
It's imperative, no matter how well-trained you think your dog is, it is imperative that you have a fenced-in yard, because your dog may listen to you, but that doesn't mean other dogs are going to listen to you when you try and keep them from getting at your dog.
Or the moment he sees a squirrel.
Well,
There is some serious animosity between the rodent world and the canine world.
they don't have a whole lot of fondness for the squirrels, raccoons, possums. Strangely enough, I've got a dog right now, George. He's a pit mix.
Right.
Beautiful dog. He doesn't like other animals, but he will let the squirrels hang out in our yard, and he'll just sit there and watch them.
Cool.
Okay. Because me and the squirrels have as much of an issue as dogs and squirrels, and that's because they like to get into your home.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that today, also with pet damage and wild animal damage.
Yes, sir.
What you can do about that, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed, if you've been living under a rock in the Mid-South for the last few months, it's spring. It is gorgeous, and to be perfectly honest, I'm throwing in a little sales pitch for coming out to see us today, in the simple fact that I don't think the weather could possibly get any better.
I'll have to agree with that. This is a beautiful day. The pollen count is down, and I can tell because I can breathe out here.
And you can actually see, because there's a white truck sitting next to us,
and it's not
actually
yellow.
White. Yeah. So let's continue talking about adopting the dog and what it's going to do to your house, because the doggy's got to go in, the doggy's got to go out.
Yes.
And doggy's got to get walked.
Well, dogs need a lot of playtime and a lot of exercise, or else they will be they can destroy your house with how quickly they run down a hallway.
Yes.
The best thing to do is, if you have a mid-sized breed to a large breed, is to, I don't know, would you say you need a lot that's about an acre?
Well, you know, something that big.
No.
It would be nice.
Allan, when was the last time you had a dog?
Oof.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably about 40 years ago. So.
I don't know what's happened. It's just like with kids these days, the ADHD. Well, dogs get the zoomies, and you want them outside because they can knock things over. I don't want to talk bad about my dogs, but I've never had a dog until George that was actually calm. I had a genetic experiment who was basically a mini shepherd, Belgian Malinois mix,
right?
Who thought she was, Rambo. And I've had labs, I've had beagles, I've had Rottweilers. They your house is not your own once you have a dog.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about. We're going to get into a little bit about decorating and everything. So we're going to adopt the dog. We have basically chosen a dog that fits your lifestyle.
Right.
If you are a really outdoor running kind of person, a Basset Hound is probably not your best choice.
No.
If you are a calm, book-ish type person with, the really calm lifestyle, a Jack Russell, probably not your best choice.
No, in those cases, I tell you to get a Frenchie.
Yeah, so there's, there are things you need to consider, and then everybody's kind of going, so what does this have to do with tools, tool talk, and DIY? These are massive investments in time and money that you're going to be making because puppies chew.
A lot.
And they're going to chew on your stuff, and they're going to chew on your furniture. And as a dear friend of mine likes to say, they occasionally, when she and a couple of her friends come over for little doggy dates, they have couch fights.
Couch fights, chair fights. They may even end up on your kitchen table.
They have, counters.
Yeah.
It's if you don't think your dog can wind up on the stove, I got horrible news for you. It might be able to.
I saw a beagle get onto a kitchen table, not from the chairs or anything, and get food off the center of the table. They don't need their friends to get mischievous. They can do it on their own.
So these are huge considerations, because today we are going to keep talking about what is it like to bring a little furry creature, or otherwise, we're going to talk about some other stuff too, in and live with you. So we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
This here paint is absolutely permanent. It will never come off. So if I see even one drop on anything but wool, I'll have your rear ends cut off and mounted over me fireplace. So have fun with the job.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
This is Tool Talk Radio. We're broadcasting from today the portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Again, if you would like to send us a message, you can get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can also visit us online at newstalk989.com, on Newstalk989 on Facebook, or at tooltalkradio.com. And we are live. We are out in the open today at the Bartlett Animal Shelter at 5220 Shelter Run Lane. And ladies and gentlemen, today is the only day non-Bartlett residents can take advantage of this amazing facility.
Yep, it doesn't matter where you live in the area. You can go ahead and come on down, get your rabies vaccinations, and your animals chipped.
That is true, and it is absolutely gorgeous today.
Yes, it is.
And you know who else is enjoying today being absolutely gorgeous?
Who is that?
Our dear buddy Jay Hill over at Big M Roofing and Remodeling. Because you know he's getting caught up today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like he's got all his guys up on the roof somewhere.
He does. So, ladies and gentlemen, for any of your roofing or remodeling needs, give Jay Hill a call at 901-379-8184. We just got through having, 3 straight days of driving, pouring rain, storms, tree limbs. If you've had any damage, give Jay a call, and he'll be happy to come out and give you an estimate. And he is also a former insurance agent, so if there is a claim to be had, he can help guide you through that process.
And that was one of the greatest things about going with Jay Hill to get my roof is the fact that as soon as he figured everything out and what we needed, he got on the phone with my insurance company, got it all taken care of.
It is a wonderful thing. So, again, beautiful day today. We are out here at the Bartlett Animal Shelter from 10 till 2 today. It is the annual rabies and microchip event. I think I got it right this time.
I think you did it. I'm
All
very
right.
proud of you.
So, let's dive back into, you have now adopted a dog.
We have adopted a dog.
You've adopted a dog, and...
Or for some of the people out there, you have adopted 2 dogs.
Or more.
Yeah.
It happens. So, what do you... All right, being dog people...
Right.
What is the first thing that happened when you got the puppy?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I've never adopted a puppy.
You've never had a puppy?
I've never adopted a puppy. Every dog that I've got has been a year or more old. Most of them are rescues because that's just the way my wife is she's like, when it's about time for us to get a new dog, one shows up.
Nope. You kind of put it out to the universe, and the universe delivers.
Exactly. I have been around people, though, who had puppies.
Okay.
And I have seen what happens to the molding around your closet doors and your pantries. And they like to dig. They like to dig until they can't dig anymore, which usually means they're in the neighbor's yard.
Oh, okay. So, if we're going to bring in a pet, let's start with potty training. Number one, I have always said, pet ownership is decided by waste management.
Yes.
And we are now being joined, as you can hear, by Miss Alissa Diggs.
Hello, sorry. And that was funny. It made me laugh.
It is waste management, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everybody's going, once again, DIY, Allan, Tool Talk. And, well, let me tell you, if you've got a pet in the house, and according to every governmental survey out there, there is about a 95% chance you have some kind of critter voluntarily living with you in your home.
Yep.
So we're big into dogs, we're big into cats, and alternative pets are out there. We'll get into those in a little bit. So we got the puppy. Number one thing, make sure you have the proper supplies. Otherwise, you are going to be replacing part of your floor.
Yeah. Your carpet, your hardwood. Even that wonderful waterproof laminate that they tell you is almost indestructible. A puppy will look at it and say, "Hold my beer."
Ooh, yeah. I've seen the damage.
Yeah.
I've seen the damage lots of times. And as a matter of fact, Bissell, I think, has finally just admitted the whole reason you need to own a Bissell is that you have a pet.
Well, I mean, if you look at most different vacuums or carpet cleaners, any of those equipment, they all have dogs on the boxes now.
Yeah. Because I have a husky, that's when I'm shopping for a vacuum, I need it to be able to take a lot. Because I vacuum like 3 times a day.
So you're implying your husky might might have a little fur?
Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
A little bit. Have you knitted a sweater yet? That's all I
like
want to know.
10. I'm like a whole production company.
That's how she pays to feed that thing.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
No, I know it's a little off track and it's not really DIY, but I do want to tell a story about Aspen.
Okay.
So Alissa adopts Aspen, and Aspen destroys the blinds the first time she leaves the house.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Straight out of the window.
I need a kennel. So I've got this nice reinforced kennel that he ate through.
Not reinforced enough.
They now have what looks like a prisoner transport that he lives in.
It was like $400. It's like a indestructible giant metal cage.
Yeah,
but he loves it.
We've got an amazing picture of her and Aspen both sitting in it.
Yeah, I had to show him it was a cool place to be. So we sat in there together so that he would know that it was safe. And he loves it.
And probably bomb-proof.
Yeah.
Okay, just, wow.
See, we're talking about home improvement. Well, you got to destroy before you can fix.
Yeah, you can't. Let's make sure we don't destroy it. Let's make sure we've got enough room.
Right.
And I think that's another consideration people need to put into their home is, your lifestyle changes the moment you have a pet.
Yes, 100%.
Your room, you need to store food.
Yes.
You need to keep the bugs and stuff out of the food, so you really do need to actually store it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people out there are like, no, I'll roll the bag down. You really shouldn't.
No, your food can go bad. I didn't know dog food could go bad until
you had a dog?
Yeah. They were like, you have to get like a airtight container for your food. I was like, it goes bad?
Yeah, it'll oxidize, and believe it or not. So, when we're looking at adopting the pet, make sure you've got room enough for the facilities, because the number one thing I'm going to point out is the whole joy of having a pet is the human side of it. If you don't take steps to make the human side of this appropriate, convenient, or easy, you're not going to enjoy this experience. I love at a lot of the facilities I work with, somebody's always coming around telling me I need a insert type of dog or cat here.
Right.
And you really, there's no more expensive word in the world than free pet.
That's true.
Yeah.
You may think it's free.
Well, it's not, because we'll just start with the food. You have to have a place in your home to store and allocate, and if you said properly store any type of animal food or feed that you're going to be doing, because you don't want to get their critters attracted into the building either.
No.
So, dog food is kind of infamous for attracting mice or other stuff because it is a very rich food, and critters outside like it too.
Yeah.
So we got that. Now let's worry about the waste management, especially when we've got that first little puppy or first little kitten, and you and they both need to be trained.
Yes, and training pads. First of all, you want training pads pretty much all over your house, and once they realize where their spot is, then you allocate them towards where it's just outside. If you want to train them to be completely outside, they still need a spot because you never know what might happen where you're gone for an extended period of time. You need to make sure that, when you take your dog on walks, you have the bags. Trust me.
Yes, please.
The last thing you want to do is be on the receiving end of an angry neighbor.
Yeah. And they'll get you on that Nextdoor app.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen them. They'll describe you in great detail.
Take pictures and post it. Yeah. Right. So, again, waste management, let's tackle that on the front end, admitting cats have certain needs, dogs have certain needs, different breeds have different needs.
And there's always been it's always been the joke, you need one more litter box than you have cats. That's not necessarily true, but
it's close.
If you're going to have, 3 or more cats, don't expect them to use one litter box.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Because they will use everything around the litter box, and your alpha cat will basically be the only one in the litter box.
That's
so
you are not the first person to tell me that, nor is the that advice has probably saved a lot of houseplants.
It's true.
Because things happen.
Well, and I mean, outside of the waste management, cats are going to eat your plants. Just be prepared for that.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah.
They probably will. All right, so waste management, first thought, are we going to take care of this? How are we going to take care of this? How to store the food. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit about, feeding, when to feed, how to feed, where to feed, because this has a huge impact in how your kitchen's going to run.
Yeah.
Because you got to do people food too.
Yep.
Just kind of throwing out there that everybody has to coexist. And I know we're kind of being a little meticulous about this today, but I assure you, a properly lined up pet experience is nothing but fantastic.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I've been cooped up in the studio too long. I've forgotten what it's like to be outside working next to men who know what they're doing.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
This is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting today from the Portable Brown Refrigeration Studio at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Just a reminder, you can send us a message at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can always visit us online at newstalk989.com, on Newstalk 98.9 on Facebook, or at tooltalkradio.com. And we are broadcasting live today from the Bartlett Animal Shelter. I'll get my teeth right in a moment.
Hey.
At 5220 Shelter Run Lane. It is the annual rabies and microchip event. And today is the only day non-Bartlett residents can take advantage of this fine facility. Right, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
So what all are they doing today?
From what I understand, your dogs and cats, you can come down, you can get their rabies vaccination, and you can get them microchipped.
That
and guys, you'll never understand just how important microchipping is until you can't find your dog.
And sooner or later, as good as your dog might be, it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. They may love you. They may know where the food is. They may know exactly where all the treats come from. But there's this moment when the door is cracked just a little bit that they turn into an escape artist. And then you are chasing them halfway down the street.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs, and we keep them with their collars off when they're in the house because they rough play a lot, and you don't want them to get their paws caught on that. Mm-hmm. But they also, as I said, one of them is a husky, and so he does try to leave the home any chance he gets, and he has multiple times. But my one thing that always made me feel good about that is that he was microchipped. We got him microchipped when we adopted him. So even if he doesn't have his collar on, I know that we'll get him back again. So
Okay,
it's so important.
A quick word on how this works. When we talk about microchipping your pet, you have all been to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And somebody at some point or another has taken something you've purchased at, it could be the grocery store, it could be a hardware store, it could be an electronics store, and they have to like demagnetize something so you can get out the door with it.
Yeah.
A microchip is just a inert little piece of medical plastic or medical metal that has a code on it, so that when somebody takes an RF reader, a radio frequency reader, and runs it over it, it pops up and delivers the information.
That way, any vet will immediately know exactly who the dog originally belongs to. They'll have your phone number and everything. They'll contact you and they'll be like, "Are you missing a?"
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and you get your dog and you apologize profusely for leaving that gate open.
So, welcome to how RF Tech works on that and why it's so important. It is just a huge, huge relief to a pet owner.
Yeah.
In the event something did happen.
We got Joe chipped because he wanders off all the time too.
I'm going to walk away from that right there. I'm just going to be nice and walk away right there and say, all right. So we were talking a little bit about taking care of your animal's basic needs before you adopted one. And Max, you said we already got a text in?
From our buddy Angel, she was just texted a picture and it said dog food storage, and what it done pictured was it's just essentially a see-through garbage can on wheels, and then the dog food is about 2/3 empty.
Well, yeah.
We know Angel's dog.
We've all seen Coco. So.
Coco eats.
Yeah, Coco has a healthy diet, but it's a great idea in the fact that it is sealed, it's portable, and I like the fact that for her particular living situation, it's on wheels. If she wants it in a different part of where she's trying to do stuff, she can roll it wherever it needs to go.
Yeah. We have a neighbor who used their old diaper pail because of the way it seals down to keep the scent in, which also keeps the dogs from trying to get in after their food. Because sometimes all it takes is, again, that one little cracked open pantry.
Yep.
Yeah. So the trick is we want your pet experience to be as much a part of your home as possible, and we want to keep this as enjoyable as possible. So I cannot tell you the number of times I have walked into, and this can even be commercial facilities, and an allocation was not made. There was a wonderful place downtown that did windshields, and when you walked in, they had a big old dog laying there, but they had actually gotten very cool, and they had actually built him kind of his little doggy throne out of a few car parts.
Nice.
So it was very eye-catching and very fun when you walked in the business, because here was kind of this cool car part modern sculpture that also doubled as,
the dog bed.
Well, the doggy throne bed, because the dog was totally chilled and groovy. Big dog, absolutely had him where he wasn't in the way. He was not, he was basically on display. I mean, he was part of the experience while you were waiting on your car. He hung out with you there in the dog bed and was, very, I'm going to have to say, chilled and groovy.
Yeah.
But you could tell this was a professional dog.
Yeah.
He obviously had been in this business from being a puppy up.
Oh, so cute.
So, people came in the door. He felt no urge to get up and go run to anybody. He just kind of looked at you like, yeah, okay, cool. Come on in, man.
Yeah. Welcome in.
Take a number at the counter. We'll get to you in a minute. He was part of the customer service.
Yeah.
And this is a big part of what people remember about coming to your home. Yep. We always, we never want to say negative things, but, there's just reasons you don't want to visit grandma's house because, well, it really smells like cat.
Right.
Yep.
And that's just because, well, we haven't really met the needs
Of the animal.
The animal. Yeah.
So we really need to address that. So let's talk about the cat thing again, of having had numerous cats over the years. The one thing I'll say is, they're not dogs.
No, they're not.
They are semi-domesticated because
just like your children.
it's so many ways. They're rather independently thinking, and they also sleep a lot unless you're trying to get some rest, in which case it's time to have the zoomies.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's time to knock something off that windowsill that, it's my windowsill. Why, how dare you put something on it?
Or sit on your laptop while you're trying to work.
Oh, the best one ever, I had just unrolled some plans to a business I was looking at. Just unrolled them, and blam, right in the dead center of it, within 3 seconds, was a cat going, "Hey, what are you looking at?" Yeah. You're like, oh, you're not see-through. You got to move, So having a cat is a wonderful experience, but they jump, they climb. They got claws. Mm-hmm. They got teeth.
And I'm going to go ahead and just throw this out there. It doesn't matter if you've got a dog, if you've got a cat, if you decide to have, it doesn't matter what you have. If you've got ferrets running around, all of these animals have claws and they all have teeth, and they're going to chew and they're going to claw on things. So I will tell you, go ahead and invest in a light grade sandpaper now, because splinters are not good for you or your animals. And for the most part, if your dog gets one in his paw or your cat gets one in the little toe pads, they may not actually show any signs of it until it's already infected.
Yes.
And you don't want that.
Well, that is one thing I want to point out of your animal. Animals are very good at not showing weakness.
Yeah.
So by the time you realize your dog isn't feeling good or your cat's not feeling good, chances are they've probably not been feeling good for an extended period of time. Because, just in nature, you don't show weakness or somebody's going to try to eat you.
Right.
So you got to pay attention to your I'm going to say your roommate.
Yeah.
Because and the one thing I'm going to point out, I don't think people really get it. Animal that keep, the kept as pets really do dramatically change the ergonomics of your home.
Yes.
You're going to look at your furniture. If you have an animal that does need to claw or climb, give them something to claw and climb. Make sure it's theirs. And that way you can have a little territory and they can have a little territory.
And don't get frustrated when your cat looks at the cat tree you bought it and decides to go sleep in the sink. Because it's going to take a while before they decide, okay, this is mine and I'm going to use it.
Yeah, it takes a minute. Yeah. Again, keep in mind, they make up their minds too. It's kind of like getting the dog to go outside. I got up, I opened the door, and the dog looks at you and goes, it's wet out there.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to go out right now. Maybe I'm not quite that desperate.
I can hold it for a little bit longer.
I can survive just a little bit longer. So
yeah.
So again, the pet experience, we want that pet experience to be a positive one. We want that pet experience to deliver what you've emotionally invested in this.
Right.
Because if you don't think a pet doesn't become a part of the family, it is.
Oh,
it is. It is as much a part of the family as anybody you're actually related to.
More so in some cases, because,
So we're going to talk about...
You can send them home.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to talk about living conditions, fences, catios, and doggios.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Do you know what happens to a butter-based frosting after 6 decades in a poorly ventilated English basement?
I guess I hadn't...
Well, I have a feeling what you are about to go through is punishment enough.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
This is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting from the portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. If you need to send us a message or a text, or you have a question for us today, let us know on the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And a quick reminder, you can always visit us online at newstalk989.com, on Facebook at newstalk989, or at tooltalkradio.com. We are broadcasting live from the absolutely beautiful weather out here at the Bartlett Animal Shelter at 5220 Shelter Run Lane, and it is their annual rabies and microchip event. The big thing is today is the only day that non-Bartlett residents can come out and take advantage of this wonderful facility. It will be going on from 10 until 2. So It is beautiful. If you haven't attended this before, for about 4 hours, it is just going to be pet and animal palooza. Lots and lots of critters. Now, even though it is an absolutely gorgeous day, I'm going to remind everybody that right now is the perfect time to get your air conditioner tuned up and cleaned up, because you don't want to wait. You don't want this heat to get started. And Allie's just shaking her head at me because we all know the heat is coming.
Brutal.
It will be here before we know it. So get in touch with our good buddies over there at Brown Refrigeration at 901-362-1881. And I cannot emphasize enough, because this time of year, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Maybe you're still using your heat just a little bit at night, but during the day, it's fabulous. But I hate to tell you, about 6 weeks from now, those temps are going to start pushing 80, 85, 90. Go ahead and get your systems cleaned and serviced today.
Because you can go without AC for
a minute.
Today. Like today would be okay, but in
July?
July?
Yeah, July. No.
Absolutely not.
Nope. So again, get in touch with our good buddies over at Brown Refrigeration, 901-362-1881, and have them come out and take care of you.
I also want to add, while we are out here, I've got to do a little bit of Geek Tank business, because we're here live at the Bartlett Animal Shelter, and I will be giving away tickets to BeyondCon.
I
have some sets of tickets here, and to the first 3 individuals who can come up and answer questions revolving around Batman and his various animals.
Okay.
We will be giving away tickets to BeyondCon, brought to you by the Batcave Toys and Treasures and Toys.
So that's live right here at the table.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, awesome! And we'll have some. There'll be a little swag here after 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
So,
nice.
So just to get us in. All right. So
we've got some fun stuff.
We do. I would like to get Max. Go ahead and cue up about 30 Years of Stupid for me.
Ooh,
because
it's like a loose nail.
Yeah, 1 out of 25 ain't bad.
You don't have any code violations, do you?
Nope.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
What do you think of the house that Love built? Oh, shoot.
Alrighty. Brandon, I'm going to get to look at you and say, old carpeting and too many pets.
I did away with all that.
You did. Unfortunately,
you learned really quickly that pets and carpet, not the best combination.
No, because they have a tendency to chew it up, tear it up, and do far worse things to it. And
there are smells that just will never go away.
just do not come out. Sadly, I hit and this was of all things, a commercial building, but the owners had been keeping their very large dogs downstairs, and new people moving into the building, and they really wondered if there was a bear or something downstairs, because it was just horrible.
Some dogs might as well be bears.
It gets close sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So my quick word of warning here is have the proper cleaning equipment to go with your pet.
That is imperative, and I know you've seen a ton of different things out there. It's like, oh, this will eliminate any odor. It doesn't really eliminate pet odor. You have to get the industrial strength stuff.
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna say get the appropriate.
Yeah.
Again, we love to kind of Tim the Tool Man here and say get the appropriate tool for the appropriate job.
Yeah.
If you're going to have pets, you're going to have pets. Generally, if you have children, you're going to have some kind of pet.
Right.
If you've got a dog, make sure you've got the proper housing, accoutrements, and stuff for him. If you got a cat, same thing. Whether it's a goldfish, whether it's an iguana, whether it's a boa, you got to have the proper cleaning facility and proper equipment.
Right.
So that's going to kind of ease me over to one of my favorite topics, and that is actually building stuff specifically for your critter.
You just like to build stuff in general.
I do. I love to build stuff in general. And our dear cohort who's off today, Mr. Joe, I hope your elbow feels better. We won't get into what happened to him.
Oh, no. We'll have to get into it before this segment's over. It is 30 years of stupid.
So, one of the big fads in the last few years, and I'm not even thinking it's a fad. This is something I have been desperate for 50 years. And that is actually building the right thing for your critters.
Okay.
Now, being a farm child, we would, you built the chicken house.
Yeah.
And all right, now I'm going to pick on this for just a moment because chickens are a big thing again.
It's true.
People are really back into the chickens.
And if you don't want to get in trouble with your city ordinance, you need the proper coop.
Bingo. And the big thing I'm going to point out here is let's make this people appropriate. So every time we built something, of course, I was on commercial bird farms.
Right.
And the whole idea was, could we clean it fast, easy, efficiently? Could we really control the human exposure to the feathers and the dander and the dust? The other was, can you get the eggs easily? These commercial lessons immediately flip over and apply to your pets.
Right.
Because if it is easy to clean up, you will clean it up. If it is easy for, you to take care of the litter boxes or whatever, you'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you make it difficult, you won't. And now you're going to start having the unhappy pet problem.
Yeah. Litter boxes, one of the things that you're definitely, I know that you're thinking it's like, well, if I have guests over, I don't want the litter box out in the open. I want to tuck it away. I want to make sure the cat can get to it, but that it's not an eyesore. All you're doing is hiding it from yourself. If you don't have it in a place where you're going to see it, every day, all the time, you're not going to clean it regularly. We fostered a cat for about 6 months when me and Amy first got married, and we were in our apartment. We kept the litter box in the fireplace. We didn't use the fireplace for anything, but you could open the flue so any aromas could drift up. But because of where the fireplace was, we saw it all the time. And it also gave Tiger a little bit of privacy because it had that little pull gate in front of it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So yeah, and but if we had tucked it into like the backside of a closet, or I've seen a lot of people put it in the spare room behind something so that your guests don't see it. Dude, you have a cat. People know that you have a litter box. Stop trying to hide it. That way, you're never going to go, it's so hard to deal with. No, if it's right there, you're going to clean it all, every time you need to.
Okay, so what about all the new robotic animal care products?
Dude, if you got the cash to drop on a robotic, litter box, do it.
Those things
they're
cool.
Amazing.
They kind of scare your cats sometimes, so you got to be careful. You got to make sure your cat is chill.
Yeah, you don't want to use it on a skittish kitty.
No, goodness gracious.
Sometimes it starts moving while they're in there. And that would scare me. If your toilet moved while you were sitting on it, it'd be scary.
Oh, you can tell Allie's never lived in one of those apartments where, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Ways. No, definitely haven't.
Okay. Well, with that thought,
We've stayed in a lot of hotels.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about what it's like to have animals in your life.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
This is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting from the Portable Brown Refrigeration Studio at News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Feel free to send us any questions or text anything you'd like to let us know today. You can do that at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. Also, a quick reminder, you can also find us online at newstalk989.com, on Newstalk 98.9 on Facebook, and at Tool Talk Radio. And we are broadcasting live from the Bartlett Animal Shelter at 5220 Shelter Run Lane. And I just lost both of my cohorts because doggies just showed up.
Prettiest babies.
They are adorable.
So, yes, today is the only day that non-Bartlett residents can come out and take advantage of the annual rabies and microchip event. This will be running today from 10 till 2. So, and it just couldn't be prettier. It just couldn't be more gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and there's doggos, and everybody's starting to show up. I will say this. As Allan said, today is the only day where non-Bartlett residents can take advantage of the vaccination and the microchip. But any day of the week, you can come and adopt.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter where you're from. You can come and adopt from the Bartlett Animal Shelter. Because doggos need homes.
They do.
And I can't take them all home.
No,
I've got an animal aggressive boy at home, and he's not a big fan.
So but he has a good home.
He does have a good home, and he's going to be amazingly upset with me when I get home, smelling of all these other dogs.
I know. I feel that in my heart.
Allie, do you have a feeling you're getting sniffed when you get home?
He's going to be so upset with me. He's going to be like, not only did you leave me here, but you came back smelling like other puppies.
Like you got some explaining to do. Stop cheating on me.
I'm so sorry. Aspen, if you're listening, I love you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the point of the show today is the pet experience.
Right.
And, what does that have to do with your home and DIY? Well, it pretty much has almost everything to do with your home and DIY.
And that's the reason why Joe's not here today is because, he is a pet at his home, and
Oh, wow!
I've heard some of those geek tanks that y'all have done where he's felt the need to make fun of whoever's not there. It's fair game today.
I just thought he was recovering from being chipped last time. So
because we love him.
It's true. So, all right. So the pet experience. We've talked about know your foods. Know what you need to store. We've talked about waste management. This is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, Max, I feel the urge for a must-have item of the week. What do you think?
Surprise.
All right.
How exciting.
A must-have item of the week, because it's going to lead into what we're going to build this hour of Tool Talk Radio. I'm going to start with you desperately need a doggy door. If you've got any way possible to have a doggy door, oh my gosh, please do this for yourself. It will improve your experience with your pet and their experience with you drastically, if possible.
And I'll agree with you. Doggy doors are amazing. But I'm going to give you a counterpoint.
Okay.
As much as that is an amazing thing, no. Because I've had too many dogs decide they were going to bring things in through the doggy door that should not be in my house.
That is true. When you get to open the door, you make the final decision about what comes and goes.
What comes back in. And the first time that you walk into your living room and you trip over what is essentially a tree. Well, Allan, I know at your house with all the plants it happens on the regular. You realize I didn't. No, I'm putting the shield in this when it's like.
I'm constantly reminded of a friend of mine who has, let's just say the dog is lumber oriented. Yeah, and has brought in at least a beaver dam or two worth of material. But to be honest, especially as the animals age and as life goes forward, the doggy door is absolutely a sleep preserving for the human. Everybody has a different dog. And if you've got the dog that hears the wind blow in Tipton County and needs to go bark at it,
yeah,
out the doggy door it goes, and it is just doggy-centric. And what I find hilarious for a friend of mine that has a doggy door is when the other doggy friends come over that don't have a doggy door, the dogs revel in using the doggy door as much as humanly possible.
Oh my goodness.
Or doggedly possible.
Are we going to get into doggy FOMO?
Oh, it was serious doggy FOMO.
Oh my goodness.
They're just fear of missing out. One dog goes out, everybody goes out.
Go.
So it's just hilarious watching them, do this. We had a little doggy daycare situation here where a friend of mine was going to take somebody else's dog for the day.
Right.
And the dog for the day is an apartment dog. The homeowner has a little doggy door, and it took apartment dog about 45 seconds to figure out there was the great outdoors.
Yeah.
And I do agree. There is the occasional, how should we say, organic squeaky toy.
Yes, that's
certain
true.
breeds will, go collect things and bring them back home as an expression of love for their owner. Your cat is fond of doing that on occasion, which is not exactly ecologically friendly, but they're trying to show you that they love you.
They
by
hunted for you. They
bringing you a dead thing.
Yeah.
So, again, know what you're getting into with the breed and type of critter.
I was going to say, I think you just have to know your pets because,
And
maybe if you have a prey-driven dog, don't get a doggy door.
Yeah. It depends on what it opens up to. If you've got a nice little backyard that's got a nice 6-foot boxwood fence,
no critters.
you're great. But if it just opens up to the state park, he might be dragging home,
right,
some little friends.
Yeah, he might be bringing some friends home, or and if you have a really friendly dog, it might be inviting some friends over with dinner.
Yeah.
And then you find out what the weird paw prints are in the morning all over your kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I personally, I could not have a dog without a doggy door.
No, I think that's
I couldn't. And they're all different types. They're kinds that you can install in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that have the nice patio, there is now a patio insert with a doggy door in it.
That is nice.
That just slides in, and now your patio door doesn't open quite as far as it used to, but now your little fur baby has a easy access to the backyard.
What is hilarious though is if you do have your patio door open, once they're trained, they will continue to use the insert instead of going out, and it's hilarious to watch. But see, my worry is it is with those other critters coming in through the doggy door, because like I said, George doesn't chase the squirrels,
right?
And I don't want to get the squirrels inside the house. There's a few neighbors I'm worried about might try and come in the house too. Allie knows my neighbors.
Yeah.
Generally the doggy door is not full size human size, depending upon the size of your dog.
Yeah.
Because I know some dogs that are larger than some of the people I know. So, with that said, I'm still gonna stick to my guns and say, really, again, know your animal, but a doggy door can really change the whole experience.
True.
Of owning, especially if you have more than one animal. Now, for all of the other concerns, I'm going to bring up the topic of a catio and a doggio.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And the doggio is really simply access straight into a contained area for the dog. A dog run, a dog pen, if you will, within the confines of your property. That way, so if you have more than one thing, or if you're in my case, I'm a big gardener, no big surprise, and I don't want my little fuzzy buddy digging up all of my work.
No, that's what the rabbits next door are for.
Right. Well, they are. However, having a dog run that is accessible directly from the doggy door makes massive, massive sense. One of the coolest things I built a while back was from a window on a bedroom. A bedroom had been devoted to the cats. So all of the cat appropriate toys and sculptures had been built and put in there. And what she wanted was the cats to be able to come and go as they pleased. Yeah. So we built a little platform complete with the little cat maze and the carpeting that led up to the window. And then in the window, we put in the flaps like you would have on a refrigerator.
Okay.
Like, the plastic flaps, so that you had a separation of outside and inside. On the outside, we built a full display for them, and we'll talk about that when we come back.
Nice.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan. News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
This is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting from the portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Quick reminder, if you need to send us a message, ask us a question, or have a comment about any of the topics today, send us a message at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can also keep up with us online at newstalk989.com, on Newstalk989 on Facebook, or at tooltalkradio.com, which, by the way, has all of our back shows, and you can feel free to pop in there and listen to the podcast, honestly, for hours and hours and hours. There's a lot of years on there.
It is true.
We are broadcasting live from the Bartlett Animal Shelter, as you can probably hear happily in the background. We're at 5220 Shelter Run Lane, and we are here for their annual rabies and microchip event. And this is the only day of the year where non-Bartlett residents can come out and take advantage of these wonderful facilities. However, they are here year-round for adoptions. So if you are looking to add a new furry member of your household, feel free to come down and check out who's available to go home with you.
Just want to give you guys, if anybody's on the fence about whether or not they want to come do it, you can get your pets microchipped here today for $20, which is an amazing deal. You can get their rabies shots for $26 and $16, depending on whether or not it's the sex of your animal. And then you bring your cats down for $10. You can get your cats vaccinated for rabies.
That is amazing. And as you can tell, we've got a line.
We've got new co-hosts, and they're adorable.
They're so cute.
They really are.
They're all auditioning to take Joe's place.
Well,
I think the Akitas they're on their way in.
Oh, they're just beautiful.
They're so handsome.
They're just beautiful. So let's talk about my favorite things to build, doggios and cattios. Think of it as a chicken coop for your little furry friend. Of a friend of mine in New Orleans, does rescue kitties. However, where she's at, honest to goodness, hawks and bald eagles are a problem. She lives not that far from, basically the swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who lives in Burbank who has the same issues, just with owls.
Oh, I didn't even think about owls.
Yeah, so an owl can come and sweep up and pick up a little pup like it ain't nobody's business. So you definitely want an enclosed space that your animal can
hang out in.
So, Allie, in deference to my doggy door and you not wanting them to bring everything in the outside inside, give them the right place to be outside.
Yeah.
So this can be fenced in, can be covered if you are, if you have small pets and you are worried about larger critters. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, there are coyotes. There are, are critters out there. And for those of you listening to us down in Florida, and yes, we have quite a few people down in Florida, I don't know what it's like to have to worry about having a Burmese python, but I really don't want to have to worry about that.
No.
So I am a huge proponent of go ahead and really, if you're going to have the pet, let's make the full-on investment. Let's dive in there, and if you've got a fenced-in area and that is more than appropriate for your pet, fantastic.
Yeah.
If you need a little more, let's take it that step further, and let's get that dog run set up. And, you can put a doggy door someplace other than a door.
Yeah.
Now, you would want to get a contractor for this.
Right.
This is probably not the DIY project you'd want to take on yourself.
No.
But a doggy door can be installed through a wall anywhere and can also have closing slides.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you're going to be on vacation for a couple of weeks and you don't want the neighborhood raccoons to figure out how to have a party in your place, you can always put the slide doors back in and not worry about it. But once you have seen one of these, it's kind of like, well, we're sitting right here next to a dog park.
Right.
They have this wonderful fenced-in area that is exceedingly doggy-centric. Mm-hmm. It just has stuff for them to play with, things for them to work with, all kinds of goodies to be out there. And it is really designed just for the dog.
Yeah.
He's got a place to go lay. She's got a place to go chase something. If you've got one of the more athletic breeds, you can have dangly toys that they can swing on and play with and pull on. And, so you can build an area specifically for your critter.
And if you've got a runner, there are, you can find plants on site that are easy DIY dog runs that are basically treadmills.
Yes.
The harness onto the dog and everything else, and you can put one of those into your doggy-o. And it's almost like he's got his own gym.
It is. Now, one of my favorite things is stealing from the zoo. I love catios.
Okay.
I
just want you to know that
stealing real animals.
He doesn't really mean going and stealing animals.
I'm stealing an idea from the zoo.
Yeah.
And when you go to the zoo, you basically have an animal with animal-centric things being presented to it. However, it is also set up for the humans to take care of the animal.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine that does, again, cat rescue, is worried about legitimately exterior critters making off with one of her cats. And so what we built and what we've done is we've built basically a zoo enclosure off a window on the back of the house. The spare bedroom is where the cat boxes, all of the cat toys and trees, and however there is a platform goes up to the window. They can go through basically the plastic guards that you would find on like a commercial freezer. Mm-hmm. They can go through that, and now they are outside in an enclosed cat designed area. They got driftwood, they got places to sleep, places where you can just go sit out on your patio and chill and watch the critters, so they can have a great deal of fun with that. I also know a guy that raises, he has pet rabbits. And he has exactly that set up. He has basically a zoo display cage with where all of his rabbits are cared for. However, it's easy to feed, it's easy to water, and it's easy to take care of their needs.
Right.
So I am a huge proponent of building the appropriate place to have them. And this is rabbits, chinchillas, right now chickens. People are back into chickens. You don't necessarily have to have a rooster to get eggs. So, you can have chickens that don't crow.
Well,
If you do have a rooster, keep in mind, they crow all the time.
Yeah, it's not just when the sun comes up.
No, they crow all day long. They're back and forth. They don't really bother people during the day with it because everybody's kind of up unless you got a neighbor that works nights.
Yeah, let's discuss that.
Yeah. However, a properly insulated coop means, he's not keeping everybody else awake.
Yeah.
So, because they get up early. If you've ever been in a 2-story house near a tree in the spring with your window open.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so beautiful when you go to sleep. It feels so good. But then you discover that the mockingbird in the neighborhood likes to sing right outside your window at 3:30 in the morning. And, again, what has this got to do with DIY? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is everything to do with it. Because these are the experiences that make you love your home or hate your home.
Yeah.
There are people that tell me I would never again live in a cove. And there are other people that would tell me they would never again buy a house anywhere but a cove. It just depends on your lifestyle and what you enjoy.
Yeah. You got to make your home and your living space work for you,
So you have, talk about your fur baby, Allie.
Yeah, I have a German Shepherd Husky mix. He's technically just he was called a mutt, but when you look at him, you just know. So
it's big, it's furry, it has certain, it looks a certain way.
He's a big boy, but he's perfect. He's wonderful. He had some separation anxiety when we first got him, and as a dog does, and we worked with our vet and we worked with our home to make sure there was less damage from him and he wasn't hurting himself. And now he's fine.
It takes a minute.
Yeah.
It takes sometimes it takes a dog eating an entire bag of CBD chews.
Yeah. And still freaking out. It did nothing to him. He ate the whole bag and it did nothing.
He took that after his mommy.
Yeah.
Oof. So
I mean, have you ever seen how much coffee she drinks?
Yes, I have. That's why I brought chicken biscuits this morning to kind of keep everybody stable. So, looking at putting in things for your pet, again, admit your lifestyle, choose appropriately, beware of the word free,
right?
Because it ain't.
For sure.
No,
it
never
ain't.
Is.
It ain't. Make sure that you've got your nutritional needs met where you can store. And the other thing about storing it is being able to access it easily. So when it's, you get home and it's time to feed.
It's just a part of walking through the door.
It's just part of walking in the door and making sure everything is appropriate. Making sure that you've got your waste management.
Yep.
And that's the biggest part of this. That is the part that will make you love or hate the pet experience in your home.
Yep.
When we come back, we're going to talk about something other than dogs and cats.
Woo.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You may feel a slight sighing.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
This is Tool Talk Radio, broadcasting from the today portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. If you got a message or comment for us today, or even a picture, send us a message at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. You can also keep up with us online at newstalk989.com, on Facebook at newstalk98.9, or tooltalkradio.com. And you know what, guys?
What's that?
We are live at the Bartlett Animal Shelter at 5220 Shelter Run Lane, and man, have we got dogs.
Yeah, if you listen closely, you can hear our new co-host.
Easily. He's a talkative little guy over there, and he is good. This is their annual rabies and microchip event.
She's like, that's my person.
Yes. And, well, this is the only day of the year where non-Bartlett residents can come out and take advantage of all these facilities. They're doing microchipping and rabies.
Rabies vaccinations for your dogs and cats.
Mm-hmm.
Microchipping. And honestly, if you want to come down here and just check out the shelter and see if you might find a new friend to take home. Today is a beautiful day to come out and check everything out.
Yeah.
Easily. Well, speaking of taking friends home, we've talked about dogs, we've talked about cats, we've talked about food, waste management, admit your lifestyle, kind of making the pet experience the best you can make it at home. But I know it's a shock. Dogs and cats are not the only pets.
That's true. And,
let's talk aquariums for just a second.
Ooh, how
we like
exciting.
the fishes.
Let's talk about aquariums. Number one, do you have the space? Do you have the weight?
Yeah, you need so much more than you think you do.
There's a lot to this, because the one thing you really got to keep in mind, you got to clean these things.
Yeah.
They have got to be cleaned and cared for. So you have a lot of daily interaction with an aquarium.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit there. And then you really need to know what kind of things you have in there, how compatible are they, and what are their life expectancies.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful about, the community you build in your aquariums.
Yeah.
Because,
For
sure. They may look good together, but just like us good old humans, if you put the wrong people next to each other, there's going to be some tension.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to eat somebody else.
That does happen. The biggest things I want to point out is this is furniture.
Yes.
This is large, heavy. This is not something you're going to move around.
Nope.
Yeah.
And aquariums can be anything from a cute little betta or goldfish bowl to
a massive
a bathtub.
Exotic fish are big when it comes to the trendy aquariums, and you need a lot of space for them. You go into the house of your best friend who's throwing the Super Bowl party, and you look at the size of his TV. Now imagine that being about 3 feet deep into the wall, and that's how big some of these aquariums can come. And you have to make sure that once you install those, you have the right amount of support for that, because once you fill it up with water, that's going to get heavy.
At about 8 or 9 pounds per gallon.
Yeah.
Is generally, as I tell everybody, with an aquarium, basically assume with the gravel and weight of everything that goes into it, guesstimate about 10 pounds per gallon.
Yeah.
So that's how much support. I know everybody's going to say, well, Allan, a 10-gallon tank doesn't weigh 20 pounds. Well, if you try to move one, that water is not, water doesn't move easily.
No.
So again, this is furniture.
And again, that's just with the water. That's not counting all the various coral and filtration system and everything else you need to put into it. That starts to, that adds up.
And also, glass is heavy.
Glass
you
is
have
super heavy.
Good glass on these
And
things.
you don't want, with something that big, you don't want anything thin.
No.
You want it thick. You want it very well sealed. And I've seen instances where, somebody's floor was fine for, 6 months, year, 2 years, and then all of a sudden something gives way and the aquarium goes down. That, we talked about your pets being an investment. You're not going to pay more for any pet than you do for the floor that your fish tank just destroyed. Not to mention the loss of all the fish you had and everything else involved in it.
And if you don't think you can't get attached to something swimming around in a tank,
you can.
You can. You can. I also want to now at this point add reptiles to the mix.
Yeah. My sister has a bearded dragon, and those they're cute. They're cute little guys.
Yeah.
However, what does it take to take care of one?
It's a lot. I've had to pet sit for Gwendolyn a couple times, and
her name is Gwendolyn.
Yep,
That's adorable.
Gwendolyn. It's a lot longer than that, but I can't remember her middle
we
and last name.
we just need the informal first name.
But she
we're not running a background check.
You gotta feed them all the bugs, and you gotta clean the sand, and she feeds them fresh kale, It's really the crickets that freak me out the most. Back to your storage situation. You gotta store crickets, and they die. And when crickets die, it's the worst smell you'll ever smell in your life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
And your lizards do not want to eat dead crickets.
No, they don't.
Yep.
And I don't want to touch dead bugs or live bugs for that matter.
So yeah, again, when you're bringing a pet into your home, this is a major and drastic change and investment.
Yeah.
And if you don't think it is, I promise you, that dog is a 14, 15, maybe a 20-year commitment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in another one. I'm going to say the parrot, which could be a lifetime commitment.
Yeah, for life, baby.
Some parrot types theoretically can live anywhere from 40 to 75 years.
They'll outlast you.
You got to put that parrot in your will, man.
And then when whatever air gets the parrot, they're going to tell all your secrets. So.
Yeah. You got to be careful what that parrot sees.
Or says.
Yeah. Definitely what it says.
Yeah. Parrots, mina birds. There's all kinds of bad jokes there. But when you especially if you get into birds, keep in mind birds are absolutely the messiest possible thing you can bring into your home.
Yep.
And it's not their fault. It's their nature. Nature is not tidy.
No.
Nature scatters. It's like, people kind of lose their minds when they bring in a chinchilla or a hamster, and they suddenly realize these things dig, and they scatter stuff everywhere, and people, I can't believe, the chinchilla's kicking dirt all over it. Well, you gotta take this into consideration before you adopt one of these things.
Yeah.
And those parakeets are adorable, but they chirp and they flap. And when they try to fly, all the loose stuff in their cage has a tendency to blow around.
Oh, yeah.
Bird seed goes everywhere, all kinds, So
you will find feathers in places that the bird's never been anywhere near.
On top of the envoy. Yep. Never been over there. Yep. Their feather's going to be up there. And then you have your alternatives, your everything from micro pigs to ferrets.
Everybody needs a micro pig.
I would love one.
And if you've never seen a micro pig, it is just something right out of sci-fi.
And
they're just little guys.
If you get a micro pig, you got to get it rain boots. That's like a rule.
It's they're just.
They should sell them together.
They're
you shouldn't
just
be able to get a
adorable.
micro pig without it coming with tiny little rain boots.
And if you buy tiny little rain boots, they
that.
should give you a pig.
Yeah.
What is a micro pig? A micro pig is a tiny. It is also occasionally called a teacup pig.
Yeah.
So you too can own a pig that only weighs 50 to 60 pounds when it's grown.
It's not quite a purse pig.
Oh my gosh.
A little big for the purse.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen some of the bags y'all carry.
Well, as a baby, they will fit in a teacup.
Yeah.
They have cute, just boxed all over them. Yeah. As most small animals do. They just have adorable and cute. And believe it or not, people that keep pet tarantulas and scorpions, they think they're cute.
I know.
They think they're adorable.
Look, tarantulas are adorable.
They're cute, but I don't think I could ever touch one. Sometimes I look at their little feetsies, the little tarantulas with the pink paws. Those cute. Keep it away from me. But I'll look at it and I'll be like, yeah, I see what you see. Just from over here.
Hey, I know somebody who keeps those giant pink moths.
Yeah, and they're so pretty. Keep it away from me.
Well, so anything you're going to bring into your home, you really need to kind of ask yourself questions. What is going to be the waste management? What does a bearded dragon need? How does it shed its skin? What kind of veterinary care?
Yeah, don't leave its skin in there with it for too long either, because that can get toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are acceptable pet store available.
No.
There's turtles, there's snakes, there's lizards, there's salamanders, there's newts, there's all of these different options, and we're going to kind of wrap all that up as soon as we come back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
If you cut every corner, you'll have more time for play. It's the American way.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
So, there's a dog out here that, if you've ever seen the Budweiser Super Bowl commercials, that little puppy, I swear this is an exact copy of that puppy.
Literally. A perfect replica.
Well, for those of you that just joined us, believe it or not, this is Tool Talk Radio.
Not anymore.
And this is basically the pet edition of Admit Your Lifestyle and what you're going to go through when you buy somebody or bring somebody into your home that's not exactly human.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking out here, and I think some of these puppers are more human than humans.
They are adorable. So today we are broadcasting from the portable Brown Refrigeration Studios at News Talk 98.9, the Roar of Memphis. We're wrapping up, so you just got a couple of minutes if you'd like to send us a message or comment at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And a quick reminder, you can always visit us online at newstalk989.com or on Facebook, News Talk 98.9, and tooltalkradio.com. We are wrapping up our broadcast live at the Bartlett Animal Shelter at 5220 Shelter Run Lane. It is their annual rabies and microchip event. Today is the only day of the year in which non-Bartlett residents can come out and get rabies shots or their dog or cat chipped.
It just sounded like you said non-Bartlett residents can come get rabies shots. I mean,
Well, for your dog or
I'm
cat.
going to go get mine. I'm going to get mine right after we're done.
Oh, man.
I'm going to microchip myself, too. I think that'd be good. I get lost
Just
a lot.
in case you get lost, we
Yeah.
can find.
Yeah.
All right, so whose address are you putting down for this? I can see Brandon going, I got to go get Alissa again. We found her loose in Midtown again.
Yep. So true.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode has been all about adopting a fur baby. Now, what does that have to do with DIY and tools in your home? It
you
has
have to ask, you've never owned a pet.
everything. It has everything to do with
Yeah.
it. Properly done, having a pet is absolutely, life-affirming of situation and experience.
Yeah.
Of those people who keep pets, they're not going to do without them.
No.
Not going to give them back.
Nope.
Not going to. Oh my gosh.
And the number of times, and I'm not trying to get morbid here at the end of the show, but when you lose a pet, you'll say, I'm never getting another dog. I'm never getting another cat. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Give it about 4 weeks, and something's going to put the eyes on you like Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to take you home.
But
I
I'm
really
gonna.
don't.
Yep.
And then you start going through, and then, of course, you can always tell experienced pet people because then they're going to like, well, I already have the animal, the animal food holder. I already got the pads.
The dog bed.
I already got the dog bed. I already got the,
the cat tree.
Yeah.
I might as well.
I've got the little booties. I gotta get a new micro pig.
It's kind of a crazy thing, but I had that koi in that pond for 12 years before he finally passed away, and do I really want to deal with cleaning the pond and doing look when that one's pretty, and next thing you know, you're putting it's
Allan got us to look off he's like, we thought it was a dog coming up to us.
I know.
You're so mean.
That made my whole day.
At the same time.
Yes, you distracting your co-host while on radio. So
that's what the headsets are for. It's so we never leave off mic.
It's a good thing. So if you're looking to adopt somebody, if you're going to come out today, come over and chat with us. We'll be more than happy to tell you all the things that
Yeah.
you need to do to make this the best possible experience.
Absolutely.
And just a quick reminder, while we're here, I will be giving away tickets to BeyondCon on May 4th. Come and get your geek on with us down there.
Come over. You have a few trivia questions based on
Batman and the various animals that have gone through the Batcave.
the Bat Dog.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
No, that's true.
And when they're like a bat parakeet or something.
Now the question isn't about Ace the Bat Hound, but it is related to that.
All righty. So we're giving away some tickets. We'll have some swag. We'll be here to answer your questions. It has been an absolutely beautiful morning. And as you can tell, customers are lining up with their humans.
Yep.
And what's actually pretty funny is
we've seen a couple of folks that we know.
Yeah. What's actually been really funny is the customers are actually lining up and behaving themselves.
Yeah.
Regardless of their humans.
Yeah.
So it's been
They're doing great.
Been a great morning.
It's a better ticket than any of your typical venues.
Mm.
Nothing but the goodest boys and girls here.
Absolutely. So what have we covered today? What have we learned? Well, we've learned food.
Mm-hmm.
Waste management.
Make sure both are properly handled and stored.
Yeah.
We've talked about making sure you've allocated the proper amount of space to your critter because, they take up more room than you think.
Right.
The aquarium's got pumps and supplies. The lizard tank has got lights and heaters and things. Even if it's a pet tarantula or a beta in a bowl, it takes up more space and more allocation than you think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can't shortchange your pets. They deserve that. They deserve to be handled just as easily as well as your kids, if not better.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I'm also going to point out you don't need to shortchange yourself either.
Too.
Do not make having a pet stressful.
Yeah.
If having a pet is stressful, the human is doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Is the best part I can say about it, because properly done, properly executed, the right furniture, the right equipment, the right tools, the right construction of the right fit for your lifestyle makes pet ownership a joy.
And happy pets are comforting pets.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. They're happy to see you when you come home, no matter what time it is.
Yeah.
Well, unless you had one of my cats.
Well, yeah, but
in
Allan,
which case, he looked very judgmental.
Was he
no
sitting
matter when you come
in
in.
a chair with the light on, waiting
Yeah,
for you
like-
to get home? And
yeah.
Where have you been, young man?
Yeah.
The best part was it was the Siamese.
You can't pick up the phone?
And
Can't call, can't text.
And he could talk, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because we did not have a kitty door when we had him. And he could actually, being a Siamese with the rolling sounds, you would swear he could say out and now.
Well, I mean, he's a Siamese cat. He's always saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can,
He can do that with his eyes.
And he deserves it.
And, it was very funny because, the cat would go to the back door and you'd swear the cat said out. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go do what the cat told me to do and let you out. So, having a pet, adopting a pet today is a great idea. So feel free to join us. Come on down to the Bartlett Animal Shelter. Again, it's at 5220 Shelter Run Lane. And it is their annual rabies and microchip event. So they are microchipping for like $20. They are doing rabies shots. Cat rabies, I believe, is 10, and a dog rabies, it looks like it's 26.
It's 16 to 26, depending on whether or not it can have pups.
Right.
That's what the sign says.
And they are, I will say, they are moving customers through rather efficiently.
Yeah.
So they are coming and going, and there's a beautiful dog park next to us, and they're having. There's a lot of doggy fun going on over there.
Yeah. They're not doing the demonstrations this year, are they?
I do believe there will be one around noon today.
Ooh.
So I don't know who's doing the demo, but the last demos I've seen in the past have been exceedingly impressive.
They've been canine unit demos, so you get to see the guy in the big suit get attacked by the dog. It's hilarious.
Well, all right. So today, the part of Joe has been played by Brandon Olmsted and Miss Alissa Diggs. So any last parting thoughts about having a pet there, Brandon?
It makes your life worthwhile. I mean, seriously, it's just, if you feel like you're missing something and you can devote the right amount of time to it, get a dog, get a cat, get a crazy lizard that you have no idea how to pronounce what species it is.
Yeah.
Get a Max.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Tool Talk Radio, and come out and see us, and we will be back next week.